the author takes the episodes of whatever went on in history and leaves a line, actually words that people are saying. It's very interesting.
The world says all you need is love. And with love will conquer all. But what is love that the world speaks about? It's about a need that we have. A person has a need to be loved. Why do they have a need to be loved? Is it a need to be validated through the love? That I'm significant? If I have love in my life, so therefore I'm feeling okay about myself? Is that what the love is? For the most part. If that's the case, go back home to your mother. She'll give you your love. If it's to make you feel significant. That's what a mother's love is. Right? And that's what nurtures us. It makes us, gives us a sense of security, a sense of value. And especially if that love is unconditional. Right? But what is a mature love? That's a child's love. That I need the love so that I can feel secure. Which is important, of course, obviously. But is that a mature love? What's a mature love? Well, think about it first.
This morning, to a certain extent. Right.
So there's an acquired love. An acquired love is when you use your mind to understand and appreciate someone or something. Like, you have a love for Tanya because you think about, oh, wow, how amazing it is and what it does for me, what it does for life, right? For people, how it changes the world for good. That's an acquired love, right? Which is important kind of love, that when we think about another, a loved one, and ultimately God, but it can be in all relationships, that we think about them and think about their greatness, their goodness, then that brings us to a love towards them. That we want to bond and connect with them, especially when it comes to God Almighty, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what do you love about yourself? What is it about you that you love? Shimon, what do you love about yourself? Okay, don't answer. Don't answer. David, what do you love about yourself? Don't answer. Just think about it for a moment. Think about it for a moment.
Okay.
Okay?
Most people would be happy that they're alive and healthy.
Yeah, but that's not why you love yourself. Because you're alive, that's why you love yourself?
Yeah.
No, because you love yourself, you're happy that you're alive. So that's not what you love about yourself, that you're alive? Or you love yourself because, you're such a cute guy, Shimon.
Maybe a person is just a good person.
That's what you love about yourself, your goodness?
You got, love involves characteristics of a person.
Right.
It doesn't, it's not like loving your wife, for example, You love different things. You love your children, you love your wife, you love your.
I asked what you loved about
the
yourself.
kind of life you're living.
I'm,
There's different forms of love. There's only one form of love.
oh, there's many forms of love.
Many forms of love.
Many forms. So I'm asking, what is it you love about yourself?
I was thinking about that, and I have the capacity to give. That's
Okay.
That's my greatest. Thank God for that.
All right. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We are in the heart of Tanya, chapter 32. Chapter 32 in Hebrew is Lamed Beis. Lamed is 30, Beis is 2. 30 and 2 equals 32. And it spells Lamed Beis, Lev, heart. This is truly the heart of Tanya. So, folks, Herzachzu, listen. Listen to this because we're coming to the core essence of the teachings. Crucial. Says the Alter Rebbe, based on everything that we've learned till now, which what is that the end of chapter 31, we learned that what should we do? Make our focus not our animal soul, even though the animal soul, it might be my first responder, but it's not what I'm focusing in on my life. It's all where I have my joy in life is not my focus in life is not my body, my bodily needs. On the contrary, if anything, I scorn that make that my focus. That doesn't mean I don't feed my body and I don't do things that my body needs, but the desires of the body, right? The nature of the body, I scorn. Because what's the nature of the body? Be self-directed. To love myself, because it's me, right? I love myself because, hey, but what you really love and what you really find joy, what you really find joy is your soul. Your soul, and if you're a Jew, so it means a Jewish soul, that is your true joy in life. This is the true I of me,
Okay.
right? That's the true I. I have joy in my soul, right? Not in my body. In other words, if my joy in my life is my body, meaning my comfort, right now, I'm going to turn off Tanya so I could eat breakfast. I'm going to turn off Tanya so I could go to sleep because my body is more important to me than my soul. That's what we're talking about. Talking about that till this point after 31 chapters, where we've come to is to identify with our soul to be my primary sense of identity. And that's what I take joy in. And that joy is, of course, and of course, doing a mitzvah is as a result of that, right? And in this case, studying Tanya, for example, right? So when that becomes my true joy in life, and my body, I really, scorn in the sense, not scorn that I don't take care of my body. It doesn't mean you don't eat breakfast and, get energy. Got to do that. But you don't do it for that's where your joy in life is. Let's do breakfast, let's do lunch, because that's where the joy in life is the pleasure in life. No, you do lunch, not as your true joy. Right? So when you have this in your life, then guess what? Then the mitzvah we're commanded to love your fellow as yourself, which refers to a fellow Jew, as we'll explain in a moment. You can come to that and fulfill it in a direct, easy path. Why? Because from the focus of the soul, right? To love someone as to love someone as much as you love yourself, how can you do that? You could if the focus is the soul, because the soul, who knows whose soul is greater? Maybe your soul is greater than my soul, right? So from the focus of the soul, now I'm not greater than you. Maybe you're greater than me.
Greater in what sense?
Greater soul. Greater soul.
Person have a greater soul than someone else. The soul is the essence of life.
Well, because Moses doesn't have a greater soul than I do. Sure, he does.
Ooh, sorry.
Moses doesn't have a greater soul than me. Oh yeah. The Alter Rebbe have a greater soul than me. Absolutely has a greater soul than me, right? Right. His soul comes from Atzilus. My soul comes from Asiya. Right. I come from a lower place in the divine order of things. The Alter Rebbe, our teacher, his soul comes from a higher divine order of things. So he's a much greater soul. But I don't know whose soul is greater. I know the Alter Rebbe is greater than me.
Comes from a higher level.
1 second. That's
I think that he's at a higher level now, as opposed to a person coming from a lower level and reaching a higher level. You often said that a person who's a sinner and then repents, okay, his soul reaches a higher level than someone whose soul was very high in the first place.
right.
How do you account for that? Sorry.
Challenge.
No, I'm not.
I'm just repeating what I've heard from my teacher.
That's no.
Sorry, Rabbi.
No. Let's focus in on the point over here, because that's losing the point. The point over here is when you make your soul primary in your life, you can come to love a fellow as you love yourself. That's the point over here. So he's coming to explain how that is so. That's the point over here. So let's not lose focus on what the point the Alter Rebbe is making over here, right? What you're saying is true, but that's not the focus over here. The focus over here is it possible to love somebody as you love yourself? You love yourself more than anybody else. Well, it depends. From the focus point of the soul, there's 2 points here. The first point, and I only made the first point, I'm making the second point now. The first point is, from the focus point of the soul, maybe your soul is greater than me. So therefore I can come to love you. If soulfulness is primary for me, so I can love you as I love myself at least, because your soul is greater than mine. Furthermore, in the very core root of the soul, the Alter Rebbe's, Moses, and my soul and your soul come from the same source in Chachma above. They're equal. We all have the same father, Chachma, above, and there's no distinction, right? And because we have the same father, the Jewish soul comes from the same father in heaven, Chachma of Atzilus, as we explain in chapter 18 and 19 very fully. Therefore, the Jewish people are not figuratively like brothers and sisters. They are literally, mamish, brothers and sisters from a soul level. From a physical level, meaning your body, you come from this mother and this father. And that's what makes you siblings, physically. But from a soul level, we come from the same source, and therefore we're not literal, not figuratively soul brothers. We're literally soul brothers and soul sisters, if you will. Brothers is the term, right? In the full sense of the word, not figuratively. Our bodies are distinctive, but that's only for people who make their bodies most important. From a body perspective, I'm different than you. And therefore, when I'm hungry, I feel my hunger. My body it's impossible for my body to feel your hunger pains. My soul could empathize with your hunger pains, but my body can't, because my body can only feel me. So if a love comes from my body, because I'm a needy person and I need love to make me feel validated, to make me feel whole and complete. First of all, go home to your mother, because that's your mother who's got to give it to you. Don't look to your wife to give it to you. Don't look to your husband to give it to you, because that's going to be a recipe for a bad marriage. And a bad friendship, by the way. I need you to give this to me, because if you don't give this to me, I'm not whole. And therefore, I only need the love that I get from you that makes me feel whole. So that's not real love. That's a love that's dependent. Right. Well, no, it's dependent. It's a love that's based on external factor, right? It's conditional love. It's not, I mean, it leads to codependency, right? But that's not what it is. It is a conditional love, right?
Usually one person is dependent.
So that's what most people's their love is conditional, right? You make me feel good, so I love you. You made me feel lousy today, so you're not in my good books today. That's a love that comes from the body, right? When we say body, we don't mean we mean in the spirit of the body, right? The body and the animal soul. It's conditional. But if we make in our lives, and that's why this love is dependent on me, where I'm coming from. I'm coming from my soul. From my soul, right? That's what is important to me in my life. That's what I identify with. That's what brings me joy in my life, is my soul. So now I can look at you and look at your soul and love you because of your soul. Well, my soul is that I'm Jewish. Your soul is you're Jewish. There's no distinction in the essence of your Jewishness, right? Because it comes from the same place. The Alter Rebbe's soul, mine, and yours come from the same root, essential source. Now, how we migrated down, the Alter Rebbe migrated with not so much, so much dust, gathering on the soul, if you will. Mine gathered more, so his directly from Atzilus, mine's from Asiya, right? Therefore, on that level, who knows who is higher? As that was the first point we made, right? But essentially, we come from the same source, the Jewish soul.
There's two ways of looking at it.
Right. But then that's from the soul level that we are literally brothers, not figurative. Only the bodies are distinctive. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now the Alter Rebbe comes now to another major teachings based on this. With this, we can understand something that Hillel, the elder, said to the would-be convert. The would-be convert came and stood on one foot and said, Hillel, teach me the whole Torah while I'm standing on one foot.
Well, he's standing on one foot, or who else standing on one foot?
Well, the convert is standing on one foot.
I never realized that. I thought it was standing on one
Huh?
foot. Okay. No, I understand. I always thought it was 2 feet standing on one foot. I thought Lila was one standing on one
Right. So he says to him,
foot. He's no Torah. No sense.
don't do unto others that which you wouldn't have done to you, and the rest is commentary. So how could that be that the rest is commentary? There's only one mitzvah in the whole Torah, is to love a fellow as you love yourself. First of all, why is he saying the negative? Right?
That's right. So do not do others.
I mean, right. But which means referring to this mitzvah of to love your fellow, referring to a fellow Jew as you love yourself. How could that be the whole Torah? How's that eating kosher? How's that learning Torah? Yeah, you can say that that's the mitzvahs that are between a person and another person, right? But how's that about eating kosher? What's that got to do with don't do unto others you wouldn't want to have done to you, and the mitzvah of v'ahavta kamecha? How could that be? So based on what we just learned, what is the mitzvah of to love another as yourself? Love yourself from your soul, then you can love another with their soul. If you love yourself because I have a great right arm and I throw a mean pitch, right? I have a great mind. I come up with great wisdom, and I'm really like very special because of my wisdom, right? So you love yourself, what's particular to you. I love to ski, which I don't, but someone loves to ski, right? Right? So guess what? Someone who has a mean, wicked right arm is going to love another baseball player. Someone who's got a great brain is going to love another one who's brainy also, right? It's going to someone who's a great skier is going to hang out with other skiers, right? To the exclusion of someone, right? You're not going to have affinity to the one with the great brain is not going to have an affinity to a simpleton. Because what do you love about yourself? Something that's distinctive about you, which comes from the body. My body's distinctive about me, meaning my body only feels me. I feel my particular greatness, and that's what I love about me. And therefore, I will have a commonality with those who have that's what's common with me. But then I will be distinctive with others. But if the commonality I have is not from the body and not from the, from my body or animal soul that's special about me, that makes me special, make me feel good about me. But is my soul, as we said, who knows whose soul is greater? And ultimately, our soul comes from the same place anyways, all Jewish souls. So therefore, I'm going to love a fellow Jew just as I love me. What do I love about me? My soul that makes me Jewish. Oh, so what do I love about you? Your soul that makes you Jewish, right? That's a different story. Now, if that's what makes what I love about me is my soul, so if that's the basis of the love of me, well, that's the basis of all of the mitzvahs. What's the basis of all the mitzvahs? God says, eat kosher. Yeah, but I'm hungry and all there is something that's not kosher. Oh, but I want to speak ill about somebody, but God says I shouldn't speak lashon hara, speak ill. Oh, I want to go skiing on Shabbos, but God says no. Shabbos is Shabbos. No skiing on Shabbos. Right? So if I follow my body, meaning my animal soul that gives vitality to my body, guess what? I'm going to end up skiing on Shabbos because that's my pleasure. Right? I'm going to speak lashon hara because it's my bodily animal soul pleasure. I'm going to do what I want. I'm not going to follow the way of God. But if my soul is the most important thing in my life, well, from a soulful position, my soul only wants to be connected with the divine because it's part of the divine. And all it wants to do is the mitzvah. So it wants to eat kosher, it wants to keep Shabbos, it wants to do everything. So then it will come to fulfill all of the commandments because the basis of every commandment is following your soul dictate rather than your body/animal soul's desire. And then you will come then literally to fulfill every single mitzvah based on that. And not only that, you'll also draw down because every mitzvah is not about my self-fulfillment, but it's a fulfillment for the community of all the Jewish people, all the souls of the Jewish people. So in other words, what I'm learning to you right now, is that just for my soul? No, because my soul is connected with every other Jewish soul. And therefore it's bringing light of God into the community of all of the Jewish people. And that's what we say in the Amidah, in the private audience with God. When you're standing before God Almighty and asking for your personal needs, guess what the last thing you're asking for? Bless us, God, all of us as one, in the light of God. In other words, what you're asking is, bless us all, the Jewish people, to be together as one in the countenance of God. This is a Fabringen here for the next hour and a half. But we're not going to do it for the next hour and a half. But this is something that is so powerful to take home with us that is like, wow. With this, then we can understand all the nations of the world if they will recognize that the unity of the Jewish people and the oneness of the Jewish people brings a blessing to all of humanity. And all of humanity will want to make sure that the Jewish people are united and do anything they can for the unity of the Jewish people because it becomes their blessing. Henya Tova has a question. Someone speaks Lashon Hara or Mizal Lishan out of love. Is it okay to see the behavior as despicable? Well, we're going to get into that tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class will deal about the negativity of another.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shkayach Shimon Leib. Tonight, Shimon Leib, don't forget.
Something on my mind.
Don't forget that everything we do is for the love of God. Give God pleasure.
I mean,
All right. Try to remember. 5:45. If I don't come, it's because I forgot.
But we'll remind you. Okay.
do we have to get to know our souls? Is that what part of learning is all about? So if we know our souls, we can be able to know somebody else's soul and identify.
Know your soul is a Jewish soul. Love yourself, you're a Jew. So loving something about yourself means that you would love others that share likes and dislikes. Kind of like birds of the same feather, right? Flock together. You notice, wealthy people who love their wealth and love the wealthy lifestyle, they hang around with healthy people, right? They hang around with skiers who that's what life is about, skiing. Or life is about whatever sport it is. They're going to hang out with such people, right? Of course. Because that's what they love about themselves. So then that's what they're going to love about someone else, right? That's what they're going to love about somebody else. It's not, naturally so. Esther, if a mother's heart is hurting because her child is relocating for the first time, is that a negative connection? Is that a negative connection? I mean, it's a natural thing that a mother feels a separation of, a daughter that's relocating. That's natural. But know that the connection isn't lost because of relocating. And if it's the good thing for the child, so then it's a good thing for the mother too. Right? That makes sense, Hester? Pain doesn't mean it's something bad. Right? When you have a pain in your tooth, it's painful, but it's not bad. It's just a sign that I have to fix something. I have a pain in my back, it's a sign that I got to fix something in my back. So if I have pain in my heart, that means I have something in my heart I have to fix. Right? So, but your daughter is moving to Halifax. There's Chabad in Halifax. There's a Rabbi Feldman, is the Chabad rabbi in Halifax. Make sure that you reach out to her. She reaches out to him. And they'll have a Jewish connection there. So is it painful? Yeah, but it's not bad. That's important. You shouldn't associate pain with something bad. You should associate it with something, right?
Signpost.
So, something challenging. Okay, good. You've connected. Beautiful. All right, so maybe your daughter is even going to get closer to Hashem by moving away. Maybe, that should be the intent. All right. Amazing, folks. Okay. Rambam coming up. Come and join us. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zuch and Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Remember, today we'll have learning later on, TRC tonight.